The Jamaican dollar has a new look. Bank of Jamaica released the upgraded Polymer Bank Notes. These Polymer Notes are ideal for Jamaicans who are visually impaired, they're durable, and are laced with security features. But how can you identify these multiple features on the new notes? Hi, I'm Shaquille Rochester Shorter and welcome to Finance Matters. Joining us today to provide more insight on Jamaica's new Polymer Bank Notes is Deputy Governor for Banking and Currency at BOJ, Mrs. Natalie Haynes. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and now TikTok to see all the episodes and highlights. Mrs. Haynes, thanks for being on our program today.
Thank you so much for having me, Shaquille. Happy to be here.
We have new money now. What has been the response?
Okay, so since we have issued the new money on the 15th of June 2023, the response has been, by and large, positive. People like the modern new look. They particularly like the feature for the visually impaired. Persons have commented on that. And of course, Jamaica now ranks along with other countries in terms of having polymer notes. So the response has been good, and can I say, based on the demand from the public, Bank of Jamaica's issuance now of notes comprises about 90% are the new notes.
Okay.
So that is a very good response, because we measure response based on the demand from the banks. Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the features that the new Polymer Bank Notes possess?
So we have features categorized according to the look, the feel, and the tilt.
So look, feel, and
tilt, and check. Check is the last one. I'll go to that. So let's look at the feel, and that's what I mentioned earlier. If you feel the top, let me turn the note, the top right-hand corner to the back of the note, there are some raised features there. Do you feel it?
Yes.
All right, so this feature is for the visually impaired in particular. So on this note that I have here now, the 2000, I am feeling the raised dots here. Okay. The note that you have there, the 1000, what do you feel there? Feel at the back of the note, the raised features.
Okay, it feels like a circle, I don't know.
It's a circle? Well, then it's a circle there.
Okay.
Right, so the 5000, we have the square. So all of the 6 banknotes have a different design at the back, and the visually impaired will be able not only to tell you if the note is authentic, but also which denomination is it that you have in your hand.
Okay, nice.
So that is what we call the feel. Then we have the look, which is for us. So on the front of the note, if you look down, first of all, if you hold it up to the light, you'll see the feature in terms of the opaque feature here, the transparent feature. And also in that, the denomination, the number is in there. So for this one, I have a 2000. Yes. You see the 2000.
And
for
the 1000 right here, yes.
So the see-through window here, that's another thing that you look. Of course, identifying the notes by the color and the subjects on the banknotes. By subjects, I mean the persons who appear on the front. Okay. People need to know the banknotes, right? Yes. 5000, we have Prime Ministers, Sangster and Hugh Lawson Shearer on the 5000. On the 2000, we have Michael Manley, Edward Siaga. On the 1000, we have what you have there, Norman Manley and Bustamante, and so forth. And what we tried to do for the color of the notes is to stay as close as possible to what existed before for the cotton notes. So I spoke about the feel and the look. The other one is the tilt. So when you take up the high value notes, the 3 high value notes, and in the same holographic stripe here for the 5000, if you tilt it, you would see the color changing in there. And you actually see the 5000 coming up there to tilt it. All right, so that's the tilt feature. I see the 1000. Right. Okay. And a final feature that banks and large cash handlers use is the check, where if you have a UV lamp,
you can check it.
In dim conditions, you will see the note fluorescence.
So, Mrs. Haynes, I have heard taxi men complaining about the money because they don't trust it. What do you have in place to help grow the trust among our users?
The only thing is really communication and continue to send that message in terms of the building confidence in the new notes. In particular, I don't know what it is that they don't trust. You know, you'd have to know. But our communication, we started first in terms of communicating with the banks, for the banks and their staff to first of all know all the features of the notes so they can impart it to their customers. But we have been on the road, have road shows in terms of
gaining trust
in the new note. So I say to the taxi men, just in terms of determining whether the note is genuine, you would look at all the features I just described.
The features, to check the tilt,
and also to say to the taxi men and those other persons, the level of counterfeit we have in Jamaica is extremely low compared to developed countries. How we measure counterfeit is pieces of banknotes per million of notes in circulation. That's a ratio. And for Jamaica, successful counterfeit is only about 0.17, that ratio. So it's very low.
Good, yes.
In developed countries, it's like about maybe somewhere close to 10. For us, it's very low.
That's good.
Yeah.
You touch on international currency. How do they differ from international currency though?
Polymer is the way to go, and Jamaica, I would say, is way behind the 8 ball in terms of rolling out polymer. Let's look at developed countries like Canada. Bank of Canada rolled it out in about, say, 2011, I think. Bank of England, those are our major trading partners. Let's come closer to home to our CARICOM counterparts. We are the last. So Trinidad has rolled it out. Barbados has rolled it out. Guyana has rolled it out, and the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank for the ECCB states, they have rolled it out. So we are the last. So we have just joined that long list, and we expect to get full benefits in terms of cost savings by having increased durability of the banknotes.
That was my next question. Why these notes? Why Polymer Bank Notes? What's the advantage?
Durability. 2 advantages I can identify to you relative to cotton. Durability. Polymer notes last at least 50% more in terms of useful life. All right?
Give us that in years.
In years, so the regular banknotes on average would last about 2 years.
2 years?
Depends on the denom. Some less. Like the $100 that is we call the workhorse, the 100 and the 1,000.
Always in circulation.
2 years. So 50% takes that to at least 3 years. We just start issuing, so that's statistics. You have to test that. But the Eastern Caribbean, their experience so far, they were expecting like 3 years. They are now at about close to 5 years, and the notes are still out there.
Impressive. That's very impressive.
The other thing with polymer too, don't think that the feature I talk about the visually impaired was not on the old notes. It was on the old notes, but
where?
Yes. You see, after a while, this is for this, that line there. After a while, when the notes get older, that feature would
disappear.
You cannot feel it. And that was a complaint we got from the visually impaired community. With polymer, that raised feature stays on the note forever. For the full life. It doesn't disappear. So that's an advantage of polymer, yes.
I didn't know it. The feature was on the old money.
Yes, but it was not as enhanced, and so the visually impaired persons were having a difficulty.
Wow.
So that was one of the things we sought to address in the redesign.
Mrs. Haynes, before we go, I want you to just tell us 3 things that we should know or remember about these new banknotes.
All right, so I'm going to use this opportunity, Shaquille, to appeal to the Jamaican public. The first thing is the care of the banknotes. Now, I mentioned that the notes, the polymer is supposed to give us longer life, more durability, right? So, because you spend money to get these notes, so you want it to last as long as it's supposed to. So please do not damage the banknotes.
Or deface it.
Yes. So you use your coin, or you burn it, or you rub it. In normal use, in tendering, in transactions, it will last longer. Right? So do not. So care the notes. You can, if your wallet, bend it slightly, but don't crush it.
Okay.
It will come back if you crush it, but you don't want your notes to look like that. You can, I actually did a little test, well, inadvertently, putting in the money in a smaller wallet
Okay.
and a billfold, but when I take it out and leave it, it comes right back out.
Nice.
Right? So just clear the notes. Just normally in your day-to-day transactions, you will just be moving the notes.
Yes.
So
Take
clear
care
the
of the
bank
notes.
notes. That's the first thing. The second thing, again, to your taxi men, in terms of determining the authenticity of the notes, just as I say, the feel,
Yes.
the look, for the features, and the tilt,
Sure.
to know that you're getting a genuine notes. And the third thing, do not be alarmed and quarrel with the banks. They are doing their best in terms of having their ATMs ready. Actually, ATMs island-wide, about 90% of those are ready to dispense.
Okay.
The issue is to accept the
Yes,
notes for
I've had that
lodgements.
issue.
Right. And depends on who your bank has. Some banks are ready, some are not. And for those that are not yet ready, they have workaround. For some banks, I know you go in and exchange it for the
Yes.
old notes, and some you can actually now do cash lodgements in the drop box at the
Okay.
institution.
Okay.
So they have the workaround until that is ready. They are trying their best, but they rely on third-party providers
Yes.
to retrofit the ATM. So I'm just appealing to the Jamaican public to be a little more patient with that.
All right. So I'm sure Jamaicans are listening in and they will adhere to what you're saying. So thank you, Mrs. Haynes, for being on our program today.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on this episode of Finance Matters. Remember to follow us on social media at MoF Jamaica and tune in next week as we continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.